Mr. Jester, appreciate your time today. Could you tell us what your name is and when you were born?
My name is Leonard Roland Jester. My father was named Roland, and I was born in 8/12/1932.
Okay, and you were born here on the island, correct?
Yes, on Clark Street,
Okay, so you were one of the true Chincoteagues that were born here, raised here, and lived here.
all my life.
Yes, sir. You mentioned your father. What kind of work did your father do?
Well, when the World War, well, he was working on the water until he got in the chicken business. He had the second house on Chincoteague, for chickens.
Okay.
That was in 1943. And he raised chickens until 1962. When the March started, that took care of the chickens on Chincoteague.
Yes, sir. Okay. Evidently, he started working for that because in 1940 census, it reflected you were in school. It reflected he was working in the poultry industry. So I guess that's when he worked up to get into his own houses. That's good. Remember speaking to you the other day, and you said that you grew up during the Depression here on the island.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Those things were kind of tight. I got married young. I got married when I was 18. But I started working in chicken house when I was about 12. Then around 16, I helped to build the first house. I worked with some carpenters on here, and I knew the man real well. He took me under his wing, taught me a lot. I worked that house, learned how to do drywall, build cabinets, and then I went with Mr. Ray Taylor at the age of 19 and worked for him for 17 years, I think it was. He and I together.
Who was the gentleman that originally took you under his wing?
Just Mr. Jim Thompson. He was from New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
He was a master. He could do anything but a piece of wood. And that's why I learned a lot from him. I build my own cabinets. I build boats. I build beds, dressers, oak furniture.
So you're pretty handy with anything you lay hands on then.
Yeah.
And your family was known for boat building to begin with.
Yeah, the last one I built in 1988, that's on the lift right here now.
Okay. When you were a kid, what did most people around here do for work?
For work,
Yes, sir.
most of them worked on the water, and that's not a very good life.
Right.
So I did, when I first got married, I built my house when I was 19 for my wife and I. We were married young, and I had 3 jobs. I get up in the morning, go to chicken house, feed chickens, start shucking oysters at 5 o'clock to 12, and then 1 o'clock till dark I drove the oil wagon.
Okay.
And you still couldn't make $100 a week.
Yeah, I'm sure. So what shucking house were you working at?
I worked at Bunnings and Mr. Morse for carpenters, 2 of them.
And which that was seasonal, so some seasons you had better work opportunities than others, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I love carpenter work. That was just made for me. My grandfather had me in that when I was young. I built my first duck, a 12-year-old. I worked with him. I followed him like a little chicken.
What was your grandfather's name?
Douglas Jester.
Doug Jester?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen a lot of his decoys.
Yes, sir.
So,
There's a picture of him on the wall. You can look at it later on.
yep, I believe I've seen that one before.
He's been on Post magazine and some other magazines.
Right.
There were 4 known carvers at that time, and 3 of them lived on Chincoteague.
Yeah, he was definitely one of them. People find his stuff very collectible.
Yeah.
So you said you were working in chicken houses. Well, the chicken houses during the morning, oyster houses in the afternoon. And
Chicken house in the morning and evenings too.
Okay.
And then shucking it from 5 o'clock till 12, and then from 12 to dark, it was all wagon.
So when you were working in the chicken houses, that was feeding them, watering them,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot different nowadays.
Oh my Lord, yes. We had this house held 12,000 chickens. Well, now they'll, 40 or 50,000 chickens in the house.
Yes, sir. And then once once the flock's over, then you gotta clean it out, replenish it with sand too.
Well, we had to do all that, but we creosote the sills also.
Okay.
Kill all
Rot out and
diseases.
stuff.
Hmm.
And where were you getting most of your sand from to refill it?
On the mainland.
On the mainland?
Hmm. We had some on Pawnee Island.
Right. Yeah, it was Wild Maddox that
Yeah,
was hauling dirt from there over here to Chincoteague.
yeah.
Now, you were saying that you did a little bit of boat building. Did you sell them, or were they for your personal use?
No, I sold them.
Sold?
Yeah, I didn't make too many, maybe 20.
Okay. Master of all trades. Because you said you did a little bit of carpentry, you did cabinetry, did boat building.
Hmm.
And,
Do furniture.
okay, furniture as well. There you go.
Yeah.
And after you started getting a little bit older and you started moving out of those businesses, what kind of work were you doing?
Well, when I was 37, I went in lumber business and hardware with a man.
Mm-hmm.
And after about 2 years, bought him out. Stayed there for a few months, being 30 years.
And that was Ocean
Ocean
Builders.
Builder Supply.
Okay. Where was that located at?
Maddox Boulevard.
Maddox Boulevard? About where on Maddox? As far as a reference to where it would be now?
Across from the drugstore
Okay.
on the same side street.
I got you. Was that up when Maddox Boulevard was still Dirt Street?
No, it wasn't dirt, but it was early. 62. It was pitiful, but after the tourists started coming here in about 67,
Right.
at least that's where I picked them up.
Okay. You were now when you had the building supply, were you still doing carpentry at the time, or
No,
were you just
strictly.
full-time
Mhm.
lumber business?
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, your father worked for you for a while there too, didn't he?
Yes. He worked with me. He and I worked together a lot all through my life. Sometimes child and father can't get along too good, but we were like, no problems.
That's good. Yeah, your daughter Jean, she had mentioned him earlier today, said that y'all had worked together most of your life.
Yeah. He worked out till me, he was 70, maybe 75 or 77 75 I think it was when he quit working.
When you were growing up, you went to school here on the island, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I was average boy, I guess. I wasn't the smartest man there, but I made it all right. And I was the first year that had come to 12 grades.
Okay.
I was in 11th grade, thought I was going to graduate, and they put another year on us, that go an extra year. I was in that class.
Where was your elementary school at on the island?
Right on Church Street,
So, where the,
old school was.
okay.
The
Now, that was
elementary
wooden
school
house?
was behind it.
Okay, that was one of the wooden buildings?
Hmm.
Were you still in school when the brick one was built?
The bridge,
No, the brick school. I believe that eventually became the high school.
high school, I was doing carpenter work then.
Do you remember any of your teachers or anything like that when you were going to school?
It's been so long I forgot most of them. Remember Mr. Hanson? He was a good teacher. Ms. Phipps, and several of them. Most of them were Chincoteague ladies or men.
Right.
Nelson Jester was the principal,
Okay.
and he left, and Mr. Carey took his place, and Mr. Nelson went to Pocomoke teaching because he made more money.
Was he still living on the island and going up there, or did he just
Yeah,
leave?
he still lived on Clark Street.
Okay.
He's a distant relation.
What part of the island did you live on?
I was born on Clark Street, and I moved on Beebe Road, down to near the ranch,
Okay.
Beebe Ranch.
I know a lot of the different parts of the island are called Dang the Ridge, Snotty Ridge, up the creek. What part did...
It's not a ridge.
There you go. And did y'all have a little general store in that area when you were growing
Oh
up?
yes, we all had, it was 27 general stores on here.
What was the reason behind having so many general stores here on the island?
Well, there weren't many cars. Most of them walked, had bicycles. So every little group had stores.
Yes, sir.
Now we had Calvin Barrett's, Father Mr. Barrett's. Then you went up, rode a little further, and where Mason's Oil Company was another store. And you go up another half a mile, and there was another store on the left. And you went around the ridge on the east side, and there was a store for east side. So each area had its own store,
Okay.
and we all supported them. And you all had a book, put it down till Saturday.
So that pretty well answers what I was going to ask next, which was basically what most people did for transportation. So basically, most of you walked to get here, there, and yonder, right?
Yeah. There wasn't too many cars till after in the 50s. Up to then, my grandfather never owned a car, and he worked in Queenstown.
Mm-hmm.
He had a boat in Queenstown, right across from where the ramp is, and he would ride a bicycle on a Monday morning from home to Queenstown and stay the whole week and come home on Friday. So he worked on the water. That's what he had to do for a living.
Talking about transportation, I was talking to your daughter, Jean, earlier. She tried to tell me that you had to walk to school, and you had to walk to school in the snow. Is that true?
I have done it, because the bus couldn't get around. We used to have a lot of snow.
Right. So the winters were a lot colder back then.
But oh yes, more like colder. And yeah, the channel froze over. You could walk from here all the way across.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a whole lot colder than what it is now. And it very good. I've got a picture of my son somewhere around here walking on channel on the ice.
Right.
When he was about 15.
The impressive thing about that is salt water takes a lot colder to get, and then you got the current underneath, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's what took Queenstown Bridge out. Ice.
That's pretty heavy ice.
And took the bridge right away.
Now, were you old enough to remember when they actually drove one of the cars from over here, Chincoteague, over to Franklin City?
No, that's a little bit before my time to remember.
Oh, okay.
No, my father did. That's when they put the bridges here, and they had a big celebration, and the cars got stuck in the mud. Had a big storm came.
Right.
Had the governor and all that were here.
Yeah, from what I understand, a lot of people got stuck out there and couldn't get their cars off for a couple days, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that definitely had to be a mess.
Yeah, I remember when the boats used to come from Franklin City here.
Okay, so even though they had the bridges, they were still running the ferries and the boats for stuff back and forth.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I made a model for Gene Taylor when they brought the people and freight over.
Okay. You were a member of the fire department, right?
It joined 1957.
Okay. You still a member?
Oh yes.
Are you the most senior member of the company right now?
I think so.
Okay. And your grandson, he holds a position there at the fire company too,
Yeah, I got him started when he was 15. I loved it, really did. I got all kinds of diplomas where I took everything possible. And he's a good sized kid, so I introduced him to the fire company. So he joined when he was 15, now he's 32.
You have any memories that stick out of when you were working with the fire company?
A few memories, but
Any you want to share with us?
the fire company had bought a 4-stage ladder. It would go up, the highest building was in town, and it was the old hotel. That was 3-story and an attic. So we had a ladder to go up that high. And we learned how to 4 men could put that ladder up, no trouble. I also learned to bring people down that ladder. Put them out the window, put them across your legs, and put them under your arms, and you back down the ladder with them.
Right.
But we got only 2 boys in the fire company would go on the roof. That was Teapot, Melvin, and myself. You could see all over Chincoteague, far as your eyes could see.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was the tallest building.
Now this ladder, this wasn't mounted on a truck. This is one y'all had to pick up, put up, and extend.
By hand.
So I think a little bit easier now when they can pull up to it with the truck and run it on up.
Oh my Lord, yeah. JL does that all the time. Gets on in there, runs it out.
So that's your grandson?
Yeah.
Right. What's his position in the fire department now?
He's president right now.
Okay.
He loves it. He looked at me not long ago and said, Pop, I did something you wouldn't do. I didn't want the responsibility of it. I had other things on my mind. And that's demanding.
No doubt.
Even more,
attention.
even more so then than it is today. So I never would take president of it. I was asked to. I was chaplain of it for about 10 years.
So working with the fire department, you've had a little bit to do with carnival grounds then through the years.
Oh yeah. I never took neither one of my kids on a ride. I ran a kiddie ride for 9 straight years.
Right. And why was it you never got a chance to take your kids on the ride?
Because I was the only one who didn't have any help. It was my job, and that I stayed there every night. We had no substitutes.
Okay. So once you went down there to work, you were there to work, you weren't there to play or
You're right.
nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
How much has it changed through the years?
How much has it changed?
Yes, sir.
Considerable. One good thing is when they moved to Far House, where it is now, out of town. Before then, if it was like it now, you'd have a job getting 4 inches out because there's so much traffic.
Sure.
Before we moved it, we had to get out. When the fire whistle blew, they just stopped. They didn't know what to do. So you get out and move them. Now, the traffic it is, that I don't know what it would happen. You have a job, get out and get back in.
Sure. Yeah, and they have a lot of nice size equipment there too. So not
Yeah,
much room.
they have larger equipment and quite a bit more of it.
Okay.
When I joined, we had a little France fire engine, 1,000-gallon pumper, and she was chain driven like a motorcycle.
Okay.
And she'd get from town to Beebe Road, she'd get 35 miles an hour. Then took you another half mile to stop her. Mechanical brakes.
So she ran on gas, gasoline engine.
Yeah.
Now, when you were young, did they still have the carnival back then?
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's been a lot of changes. We had prize fighting, horse racing. They've done away with those two things, but they've added on to a lot.
so you say the prize fighting and the horse racing, did that take place there on the carnival grounds itself? Or?
Yeah, we had all the way around the carnival ground was a racetrack.
Okay. And did they bring fighters from off the island for the prize fighting, or are they locals, or?
Well, we had some locals, but we had the Army here on Ridge Road. The Army at the barracks was there. Then we had the Navy over the base.
Okay.
So it wasn't no trouble to get prize fighters.
So the Army, were they regular Army or reserves, or?
No, regular Army.
And is that because of World War II, left over from that, or?
Yeah, we're doing World War II.
Okay. And speaking of which, now you would have been kind of young about that time. Did the island worry a lot about it, or do you remember much about it?
No, just like they were here and that was it. You very seldom saw them unless you go down Main Street.
Okay. Yeah, because I know you get up Delaware along the beaches, they had the towers and everything set up looking for subs.
Yeah. Well, here in the Narrows, going south, they had little houses, and people that were on guard to those houses all the way down in
Okay.
case they come ashore.
So instead of having watchtowers, they basically had watch houses, what you
Yes.
say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right along the waterway.
And as time went on, as they started doing away with the horse, when did they start doing away with the horse racing and prize fighting?
I would say it's probably around 60, maybe in the mid-60s.
Mid-60s. The 60s saw a lot of changes for this island then.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of changes.
And they started with the flood in 62.
After the flood,
Okay.
this was just, I guess it was more chicken houses on Chincoteague than it was in Racamac. Because everybody started raising chickens. That was a good way to make a living. And when the March started came, we had probably 1 million chickens or more on Chincoteague, and they all got drowned. So that put it out of business.
Yeah. But it was a lot of work trying to get all those cleaned up as well.
Yeah, a lot of horses died.
They had a fair amount on the beach die, or they mainly...
Some of them on the beach got drowned.
Okay.
But one man, I don't know why it was like from West Virginia somewhere, he called the fire company and sold some horses back to us.
Okay.
Because he had quite a few, he bought quite a few of them to help me finish the herd.
In 62, did you have any kids at the time?
No.
So it was just you and your wife?
Mm-hmm.
Did you stay here on the island, or did you
Yeah.
evacuate?
No, stay here on the island.
Okay. Yeah, I know they took a lot of people off, but some stayed, some didn't leave until after the tide went.
Well, it took us off in the helicopter, but I came back the next day.
So how'd you get back the next day?
A friend used to live across the street from me. He was transferred in Teller or somewhere, and he came down, and I had to be at T's Corner trying to find a way to Chincoteague, and he had his boat with him. So, and I also took a 8mm film, which you showed at the Art Museum. It was my film I made. I had a camera, and I took pictures of the cars in the causeway, one of the causeway in the border, and the cars up the oyster shop, all the shell heaps, and boats up there, and back of buildings, but knocked out with boats. And they were showing it until a few years ago.
So when you were sailing back, the cars that were on the causeway, were they the ones trying to leave?
No, they were coming here home.
Oh, they were coming back.
And ended up in the ditch, and alongside the causeway.
Right.
Two cars did.
So you remember anything else about the 62 flood?
Yeah, I remember everything about it, because we took it as just another day. Mm-hmm. And we all helped each other out. We worked, Mr. Ray Taylor, our man I worked with, we worked in his backyard a whole week, getting this stuff, the debris and everything everything was messed upside down, and somebody had to take care of it. So we did. Everybody quit work and went cleaning the Chincoteague.
Sure. So cleaning up the island was more of a community effort, not a business.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a community effort, all right. No beauty part was nobody got hurt real dangerously. We lost a couple of homes, but the far house, the churches were full. The Baptist church was a lot of people there.
So that's where they were evacuating to, those places.
Yeah.
Which I guess is good since they have big kitchens there to help keep people fed.
Yeah, all of them had kitchens in it. The far house did, and so did the churches.
During that time, what part of the island were you living on?
I lived on the south end. I lived there until I built my house in 52. 72, I moved up on Ridge Road, and I stayed there. Then I moved across the street, built a new house like this one.
Right.
And then I moved. I always wanted to be on the water all my life, the house on the water. And I had the opportunity to buy this piece of land. I did. I started digging the footer the second week of February, and in a snowstorm. That's how bad I wanted to get down here. And while I was digging, the man was putting my dock in.
I'd say you had it on the ball.
Yeah, and we moved in 6 months later.
And that was in which year that you moved in here?
92.
In 92.
It was.
So you were building this when you were in your late 50s, early 60s.
65.
65? Yeah.
I got Mary Grace and I got her toting 2 by 12s, 18 foot long. Bringing them to me. I had a man that owed me some money when I closed the store up, and had to have a crane put the roof on. He happened to have a crane, had to crew him in, so he come and put the roof on for me, and we called it even.
Not a bad deal. When you've been working with the fire department and the stuff, did you ever fool with the roundup, or did you just...
Yeah, I went 3 years on roundup. I went with Mr. Walmatics his last years.
Okay.
2 of them.
Yeah, he was my great-grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
So,
He's a nice man.
did you have your own horse, or were you using somebody else's horses?
No, I always wanted a pony all my life, and Dad and Mom wouldn't buy me one. I never didn't realize why. But bought me a motor scooter, a 1 3/4 horsepower.
1 3/4 horsepower?
Yeah. And I had a good friend, we went riding together, go up the bridge, yeah, get off and push. Then I got a larger one. And I got my first horse, I was 42-year-old. I had bought my son a Palomino first. And then I bought one, and then I bought the third one. And I found out why my father didn't want me to have a horse. They're too expensive. I don't know what it costs today to keep a horse. I have no idea.
Well, probably about the same as what we're putting in gas in the cars now.
Yeah, just about.
When you had your horses, were they on your property, or did you have the property
No,
where you kept them?
I had a barn for them and stables.
Okay.
Yeah. Took part of a chicken house.
And what caused you to decide to get out of the horse business?
David got allergic to it just overnight. Every time they get within 20 foot of the horse, he starts sneezing. And mine took the heaves. This is what they call them.
Right.
The vet told me when I bought it, he said, "Look, you shouldn't have bought that horse. Why didn't you come to me? I'd got you a good one." Said he fed that horse sweet potatoes.
And that's what made it
He took
predisposed.
the heaves, heaves out of it. Yeah,
Right.
for that. When you get on his back, he'd ride up. And after he'd ride up one time, he was okay. He'd never been ridden when I bought him.
So you rode him, broke him.
Yeah. Me and I got broke in together.
It's a double way to take him to get broke in when it's both of you at the same time.
Yeah. I had another horseman go through a water hole. That's crazy. We were riding the beach. We used to go to the beach every Sunday afternoon, a lot of us. And naturally, this little ditch crossed there, and they'll jump the ditch, and I was the last one in line, and my horse stopped, and I jumped the ditch. I went on the other side of the ditch. When I landed, he was on the opposite side. Oh my.
When you used to go riding over on the beach, what areas were you riding on? In a particular area?
All over.
All over?
Mm-hmm. At that time, you could go anywhere you wanted to.
So you could take them to head up the beach or down the beach, didn't matter.
No.
Yeah, because nowadays they only let them go down on the hook.
Yeah, we used to go up White Hills.
Okay.
And that's horse. Chincoteague horse is no problem with us. We bring one from the mainland. When you get up top of the hill, your saddle's back on the back end of him. You hold his breath so tight. That's you ever been up the White Hills? It's the tallest hill, I guess, around here anywhere in this area.
Right.
People don't realize it because you don't see it. It's up the beach, and it's on this side of the beach, not the front side of the beach.
Okay.
And
So,
it's like real sandy, light sand. I've never have tried to walk up it. But I do know the horses have a problem because some of them get scared. If they're not used to dirt and sand, they get scared. And my horse, I bought it from the mainland, and when we got to the top of the hill, I was on his back hind. He held his breath so tight, my saddle slid back.
so you mean to tell me that you've rode your horse up it, but you've never been up there, you walked up and had a picnic?
No, never been back there. Maybe I've been up there maybe 6 times in my life.
Okay. Because didn't a lot of the islanders used to use that for a picnic spot?
I don't think so. They might use it around it for a picnic spot.
Okay.
Not the hill itself.
All right. Donna, you had some questions about the...
Well, my question, Mr. Jester, was when you were a youngster and before the bridge to Assateague came in, how did you get there? And where did you go? How did you access getting to the ocean front?
You had to walk. And then we had when I graduated, we had a beach party, our school class, and we all went by boat. But we never got to the beach. We always stayed on this side because it was so far to go, and there's no transportation. The only thing that was on the beach was the government had an old ambulance that the government used to use in World War II when there was ambulances, and the mosquitoes were bad. When you come to the marshland, come through the woods, you got to the marshland, you had to roll your windows up and turn the windshield wipers on for mosquitoes. So you didn't dare to walk across this beach, boy, like they do now. Because
And do you have any memories of the old lighthouse village?
no, none whatsoever. I got a picture of it up here, and I knew some of the people that lived there. It was gone now. The last one was Roy Jones.
Sure.
Yeah, he's one who drew the pictures.
So did local people go to the old Coast Guard station and access the beach from there?
One time we went to Coast Guard Station is where it is now. I don't know what year that was. I was real young.
It was built in 1933.
Well, I was born in 32, so this is probably 38, something like that, 40. Our Sunday school class would take a trip once a year out to the beach and have picnics. And on a monitor, boat pulling it. And that was about as far as we went, the Coast Guard Station.
Monitor, that's basically a big barge, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and you
That would be
said,
clan monitor?
Oyster monitor, 1,000 bushel. And the biggest one they had. So we all enjoyed it. It was a good time. And in later years, we had a picnic, we would get on the beach, you could drive across it. And we could have watermelon and things like that. But then at that time, you could go by road, not walk.
So during the time in 1947 when they established the refuge, you would have been a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And of course that was all about game warden, keeping the hunters off of it. But just tell us a little bit about if you remember when the Fish and Wildlife Service took over and what the local folks went through, the market game hunters and such.
Well, I was a hunter myself, but I didn't go to the beach. I was on this side.
You weren't an outlaw.
Tried not to be, but I did sometimes. And what it says they weren't was still over the limit.
But you knew a lot of the outlaw gunners.
Yes, yeah. A lot of
And
them
you
went
knew a
over
lot of
there.
their tricks.
A lot of them went over out there on the beach, snuck over and shot and got away. But I stayed on this side, channel.
so what do you remember of Walt Clark when they first started taking over there?
Yeah, I remember when he had the accident with the game warden.
Buckaloo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So they were calling it an accident?
I call it an accident.
And how about Mr. Jester? You were a member of our town council. Tell us a little bit about your 4 years there serving the town.
Well, I learned a lot. You don't go on a council with your own agenda. You're open-minded. And you're there for one purpose, serve the people. It's changed a lot now, to me. But they were more conscientious then than they are now. I think so anyway.
And then, did you meet in the old firehouse, upstairs the old firehouse, or were you in the days of the
No, I was in a new place.
new council? So you did that later in life.
Yes.
Who was the mayor when you were on the council?
Jack Tar?
So
Okay.
it wasn't that long ago.
No. 2000. I think it was on 1999 or 2004. Something of that nature.
Through the years, there's been a lot of different characters here on the island, different, some of them a little more notable than others. Any of them that you ever used to take and associate with and hang out with?
No, I didn't hang out with them. I built some of the houses for them. When they first started coming here, when they hit Chincoteague, I built 2 of them on Pine Island. And they thought there was nothing like it. I always call Chincoteague heaven on earth.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's what it was. You know, the locals, we had a few alcoholics, but and once in a while you'd have a murder, somebody got shot, but it was nothing great. And the ones that first started coming here, they loved it to death. And after it got about 4 to 5 years, he wanted to change it like it was where he came from. That was the biggest problem.
Right.
Some of them left.
Now,
It was kind of that.
you say you didn't have much interaction with some of the either notable or notorious characters on the island. Who was it you made your first $2 with?
Wild Maddox.
Okay.
My cousin, his Lloyd Watson, he was about 3 years older than me. We were young. And one Saturday we were to our grandparents, John Benny Watson and Manning, and I was up on Clark Street. He said, "How would you like to make $2 a day?" I said, "My Lord, $2? Yeah. What would you got to do?" So you got to go and load a truck from Wild Maddox and put the wood up the barn, on top of a barn. You get on the truck and shove it up, and then I'll place it up on the barn. So when we got all done, he'd give us a $2 a piece. That's my first $2.
So was that here on the island or was that over on Pine Island?
That was on Maddox Boulevard. He lived on the front corner house.
Okay. That's right across from the coffee shop now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, we'll go back to the original question. No notorious characters. What did you tell me about Petey Savage earlier?
Petey?
Yeah.
I think everybody thought the world of Petey. Petey drank a little bit. And he directed traffic one day at the Madison Boulevard in front of my store. And he would stand in the middle of the street, stop the cars both ways. Here come the cop, and Petey would disappear. Nobody knew where he went. Times of trip, when the cops got gone, left, he would come back and direct traffic again. And one car tried to sneak by him. So he smacked the hood of the car and said, "I didn't tell you to go." They never did catch him. I don't know where he went when the cops came, but he disappeared. After about 3 or 4 times he quit. I think Lawrence took him back somewhere. Maybe Lawrence took him back to beat. I don't know what he did, but he got a hold of him after a while.
Yeah.
Were Lawrence and Petey brothers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Petey would have been Lawrence's younger brother. So, what about going to Ocean City?
Oh my Lord. Petey was 3 of us, Wayne, Watson, and myself, and Mary Grace, and Wayne and Faye, and Petey and Marlene. He was the head of us. He had a 47 Plymouth, green. And this car from Maryland would go real fast and get in front of Petey and slow right down. So we'd have to go around him. About 3 times he did that. So Petey notion, stay back. And we slowed way back, and he flew aboard that car and stuck that one in the back end. So he went out across the field in a cornfield. He didn't bother us no more.
So you all just kept right on heading on up to
We
Ocean
went to
City.
Ocean City, yep.
When you headed up to Ocean City, what were you headed up there for?
I went up there to buy a pair of binoculars. And we just wanted a day off. Some of us went to the beach swimming. And
Okay. So before they built the bridge to Acetate, did you ever go to Ponty Island very often?
I only helped haul dirt off of it sometime.
Okay.
And if it had a fire or something, we would go to Potty Island. That's about the limit of it. It was all private owned.
Right.
But you certainly remember before Wild sold those lots and developed it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He had cows there, I heard.
Yeah, we hauled sand, Al Brennick, colored man. We hauled sand off of there, put in chicken houses.
Well, I had heard that's why he bought Piney Island, because it had so much sand that he could,
Yeah, it had dunes
could
on
go
it.
into
Yeah.
go into the sand business for the chicken houses.
Oh yes.
Never thought about $1 million pieces of land, or
Never thought about it. It had a lot of dunes on it.
you have any idea when Wild sold those lots, what they were selling for, that everybody thought here it was sky high?
When he started selling Madison Boulevard, I thought it was sky high. Did you buy a lot for $800? $1,000?
And then he moved a lot of things over from the Navy base when it closed, right?
Yeah. He was a good businessman.
He was a mover and a shaker,
Yeah. Yeah. He was
and smart.
Yep, very smart. He could see ahead further than anybody else I knew of. He had good imagination and a good businessman, and honest. When he said something, he meant it. So, a lot of days now, people are not like that now.
So did
They
you ever have,
promise you the moon, you don't get anything.
did you ever have any dealings with the car business that he had there, or any?
Oh yeah. He had a car business in town,
Nash,
and then Howard Tar bought it.
Harold Tarr.
Yeah, he's over here. And then they wanted to make a showroom, so you can't lay tile on top of paint. So I had to go in there with a big big sander and sand all the paint off the cement floor. So we could tile it and it would stay, putting the car weight of a car would turn the tile up. And when I got done sanding with a sander, they were like ghosts when they come down upstairs.
And this building was located at the corner of the original bridge,
Yeah,
right there to the
2-story
left.
building.
Can you tell us a little bit about downtown and how city-fied that was for those of you that live down Snotty Ridge, and maybe about Tall's Restaurant and Hanley's and Gallagher's?
Most one I think about was the one sold ice cream. I can't think of his name now. His wife, right beside Hotel Russell. And you could buy a single dip or a double dip. At that time, they had ice cream cones. You put 2 single dips on, like to put together. And you put a dip here and a dip here, and then put it on top of each other.
Now, was that on the
Lewis.
corner of Cleveland
Yeah,
Street?
yeah.
Before it was a laundromat?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, way before then.
And then what about Gallagher's? You met there many a morning, I bet.
Just about after I started working. Mostly when I started in business. Because I didn't like to get up and go to work right away. I always like to have a cup of coffee and talk with the men. So that's what they still do. And Bill Seafood had a lot of people who went there mornings.
But Gallagher's was the place to do that.
Yeah.
In the 60s, I would guess.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember a lot about Gallagher's.
Yeah.
And where was that located at?
Across from the old post office.
Okay,
Where the Island Butterfly is now.
I got you.
Right to the left of Don's Seafood was Gallagher's.
Yeah.
John Gallagher and his wife, and they had magazines and a soda fountain, and I think a lot of the world's problems were solved in Gallagher's.
Yeah, a lot of them probably Elton too. Created a lot of problems too, I
Well,
imagine.
you did. Well, explain that to us. What kind of problems were created?
I don't know. Most of them were all workers, hourly workers somewhere. And they'd talk about their jobs, different things.
And what time would you go there in the mornings?
Around 6:30, 6 o'clock sometimes, 6:30. You start work at 7:30.
I suppose you sat there with Donald Leonard lots of days.
Yep, Don and I were good friends. Yep, real good. He sold him some of his ponies at pony penny. After it got done auctioned off to farmers, he would get rid of some of his ponies. He started a program for some for a company. He put so much money every year from them ponies in his fund. I think he still got it. And
For firemen that were in need one way
if
or
they
another.
got hurt or anything, they had something they get to draw some money from.
We've had a lot of dedicated firemen.
You certainly have. Yep.
It's a great organization.
Next to my church it was the only organization.
Tell us about the eagle that you made for that was on the front of the firehouse.
The eagle, my great grandfather made the eagle, Andrew Potts. It's 6 foot long, almost 6 foot long, and almost 3 foot tall. I got the pictures of it upstairs while I worked on it.
And so, what did you do to that eagle?
Well, it's been outdoors about 100 years. You can imagine against a brick wall. It was on the Red Man's Hall first. You remember the Red Man's Hall?
Before my time, but I remember it.
Where the post office is now was another brick building, 2-story. And that was on the front of it. When they demolished that, the fire company took it and put it on the front of the firehouse. They took it down some years ago because it was starting to get bad, and Mr. Herbert Jester worked on it first. And about 30 years later, I had to rebuild it. It was in terrible shape. So I decided then to put it inside because it wouldn't stand up.
And it's now in the new firehouse, in the social hall.
Yeah, and there's a model of it up there. I made that one.
So there was, I don't remember what it was, but there was something written on the side of it that I saw over at the firehouse that I didn't understand. Can you explain that to me?
I forgot what it meant. Euplore or something. It's not on that one.
Okay.
But I forgot what it meant. It's been so many years.
What are some of the other businessmen that you had dealings with on the island through the years?
Oh, after I started business, did with all of them. Mostly.
How about some builders that aren't with us anymore that made significant? And Fred Talbert, of course, was a major
Fred and I
contractor.
we built some tiny houses together. Fred and I were in business together and for different things. And close friends all of our life. I met him when he went to go work for the man in Norfolk. And he moved back home. So then we became real close. Had dinner together evenings and otherwise. And when the Ocean City in the boats, he had a big little boat, and I had one. We sailed the Ocean City. And the weekends, we were really good friends.
Who started building houses? Who were the house builders that built some of the houses in the old days?
Mr. Ray Taylor, he's the one I knew most of because I went to work with him about 5 years later. And worked with him 17 years. He was a good carpenter and a smart man. Mr. Fred Talbert's, Mr. Fred's father, he was a carpenter. There's quite a few on here. The Daisies. They did a lot of business when I was a kid.
Mr. Umflett?
Yeah, Bobby, Mr. Umflett, yeah. He worked for me him and Ed Murray for quite a few years.
And Mr. Budd worked for you a long time at Ocean Builders too,
He
didn't
worked
he?
me 28 and a half years. And Danny worked 18 and a half years for me.
It was Danny who?
Danny Bowden.
Danny Bowden, that's right. He's a wealth of knowledge. He's a historian.
He's got a mind like an elephant.
He
He
does.
don't forget anything. He's teaching in our Sunday school now.
I know in working with the museum, Danny has so much information stored back there about people that he never knew and families that he never knew that he can just really tell you the stories of who's who and who their mother was, who their sister was, and what they did all throughout their life.
He's got a memory, no kidding.
He sure does.
He's a smart boy, he's a smart man.
And then Mr. Budd, didn't he work for you for a long time?
28 and a half, 27 or
Mr.
28
Budd
and a half
did.
years.
He was from down the ridge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a good man. Honest as day is long. I turned the inside store over to him, and I didn't worry about nothing. You order what you want to, take care of it. I'll handle everything outside.
And what was his first name?
Roy.
Roy Budd.
Mm-hmm. John Fecto, I had him last. I took him. If I wanted a person to work in the store in summertime, I would go to the shop teacher of school. He knew more about the boys and anybody else in the school. And he could tell me just what I think would be a good boy to go to work. And he was never wrong. If I heard somebody in summertime, I always went to him and give me a name. And it's always worked out great.
That's how you got Danny?
No, Danny went to college 1 year and came home, and he liked the water, and I had the sea mist fishing boat. He wanted to go on that, so I started him on that. Then he said, I got to have something to do in the wintertime. And I said, well, come to the store. And that's how he got started in the store.
So this Sea Mist, was it a party boat that you had, or?
65-foot head boat.
Okay. So that wasn't a party boat, that was actually going out and doing fishing.
Yeah,
Harvest.
yeah, it took 61 people.
But you did tours on that too, right?
Yeah,
Not
on
just
tours.
fishing.
Mm-hmm. That was a model up on that shelf.
Yeah, very nice model.
There's a picture of it right here, loaded with people, unpenny.
So you take them out there for a swim?
Yeah,
Kendall crew.
yeah. But they're related to my grandfather.
So we're probably cousins.
Probably were.
You're on Chincoteague, you probably are.
Yeah, because I got a picture of my grandfather up in where Gene lives, at split level over the front door. He was a handsome man when he was young. He made a movie star, if there was such a thing then.
So who was his father?
I didn't know his father, my grandfather.
Was his name Kendall?
I don't remember him. But I got all the pictures. I think they were like 20 by 24. David's got them now.
Plans for the museum? The original part of the museum.
I drew a lot of plans for motels. Drew plans for this house, Donna Birch's house. A lot of plans, did a lot of that.
So you've seen a lot of changes in the Chincoteague style house. Because when the ridge, I mean, if you ride down the ridge, you can tell that the lower ridge is a lot older than the upper ridge. And the upper ridge, they built everything ground level and rancher style.
Yep.
You can tell the time that.
Go name Poplar Street. And you see some of the old homes. That's been at least developed street. Now it's been developed in the last 5 years more. But it had a lot of the older homes still just like they were, like my grandparents were.
And so, as you were getting into construction, there weren't all the zoning ordinances that we have now, right?
No.
You saw all that come about. Rules and regulations.
They didn't have plywood when I started building wood. Most of us had hand saws, no skill saw. They came, Mr. Ray Taylor's had, only carpenter that I worked with had a skill saw. And used hand tools
You've seen a lot of changes.
quite a bit. Yeah,
You've had a good life.
I've had a beautiful life. Yeah,
And you live in heaven on earth.
you're right. That's what I called it.
I call it that too.
God's been good to me. I've never left anything. One of the few.
We were just talking today, if we don't have to go over the causeway, it's fine with us.
Yeah. Now you get my, my son's been wanting me to come to Nashville. When he bought there 18 years ago, I'd go spend a month at a time. We built a house in, put all new windows in it, and I'd work a whole month at a time. And he wanted to build a building not long ago. He said, Daddy, could you come down? I said, no. I don't want to drive that far anymore. Just don't want to do it. I'll go to Cape Charles to the dermatologist, and I go to Salisbury. That's about my limit. As far as I want to go.
I agree with you.
Yep. I'm a person. I love my house. I had a wife, beautiful woman, great. Mary Grace. We married 18-year-old. She was still in school.
Well, people got married a lot younger in those days,
Yep.
didn't they?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
There wasn't any laws against it.
We
I
stayed
know I've
married
talked to a lot of people that had to go to Snow Hill they'd run away Snow Hill to get married.
Oh, I did. I tried that, but they said, let me show me your, something for, identification for your age. And I couldn't do it.
So then what did you do?
I come home and got Daddy to go with me.
So he had to sign for you
Yeah.
to get married?
Yeah.
And what about Mary Grace?
She looked overnighted, I guess. There's a picture behind you when she graduated.
She looked older than you did, so they didn't ask for her ID or
Yeah,
anything?
just for me.
So you returned to Snow Hill to get married at the courthouse?
No, I got married in Pocomoke.
Okay.
Preacher Ditto. It was his name.
And so why did you Islanders have to go to Maryland?
I don't know. Just never thought about going to Accomack.
Because I've heard a lot of people that ran off to Maryland.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They did it in Pennsylvania too, right in Maryland to get married.
That's Mary Grace's picture when she graduated on that table. Now, look at what it looked like back there.
Good Lord.
Just back going, wasn't it?
Yeah, you had to do a fair amount of work on that.
I did a lot of work on it.
See, now that has that, what's that mean?
T-O-T-E.
T-O-T-E.
You gotta carry it, you
I
towed it
didn't know
around.
what it meant, but I forgot.
Oh, no, here. Totem of
Totem
the
of-
Eagle.
Yeah. That's it.
Never would have guessed.
There you go.
See, I don't know. I guess
Grandfather Watson, John Bennett Watson. That was his family. That was Mom when she was a baby. That was a boathouse I had for about 20 years.
Where was that located at?
Dodge Bay,
Belgium Bay?
behind Atlantic.